and they matched 42 at bats. Wheeler 43, DeGrom 48, Syndergaard 51 at bats. Altier hitting .083 in 38 and 30 at bats.
Yeah, right, I didn't know the Mets bench was that atrocious.
Well, they're not all bad.
Who's in their lineup right now? Because Cano's out.
Well, also,
so
the Mets bench
second?
is also the Mets bench is also this atrocious because McNeil's injured.
Yeah.
And Cano's injured. And
Nimmo's
been injured for a while.
So I was going to say,
now,
those 2-3 come back, then you get 2-3 solid players to the bench.
Moving down, Lagares goes back to the bench, stuff like that.
Lagares has been hot as
Panic goes to the bench, which Panic's been very well since we signed him.
I was going to say, Panic and Lagares have been hot.
So the bench gets better when we get our guys back. So I'm not concerned about the bench.
But I wanted to get to the Altier.
I get what you're saying.
Why is he on our
team? With the moves that...
Well, he's on your team for now. He's going to be gone when Cano and McNeil come back.
Well, I know. The rosters get a little bit bigger in the next, few weeks and month. The rosters get a little bit bigger.
So he's going to stay, and you're going to add more roster spots. Because right now they probably have no one else. They don't have anyone else to bring up. Other than this guy, what's his name?
Who?
The guy that's batting like 63.
Oh,
Altier. Yeah, I never even heard of him before that.
It is. I don't know.
But I don't think I'll ever be able to pronounce his name, and I hope I never have to.
He's gonna hit one of the biggest.
I hope I have to, but
because it could be in a bad way.
Yes, I mean in a good way, obviously.
But the Mets coming off a 3-game sweep, actually like a 2 and an 8 inning game sweep.
Yes,
yeah.
It got delayed. They came back for a little bit, then it started pouring again, and they called it.
So they're coming off a good series against a playoff contending Cleveland. They're on a 5-game winning streak. They're home tonight against Atlanta. Big test because they can't beat Atlanta. Last time they went to Atlanta was a couple weeks ago.
They got
smoked. So, and from Atlanta, Chicago, Philly, Washington, Philly series. That's the order right now. That's their next series. It's Atlanta, Chicago, Philly, Washington, Philly. Their next 5 series, including right now.
Yes.
They got to win every single series. They got to. They got to win every single series.
They got to win every series to close out the year. Not just these, but these are more important.
And after all this winning, they're still a game and a half back. So that's why if I was a Met fan, I would take a step back, be like, this winning's great. I want to get in that. Like, we got to get in there.
I completely agree with you, Jordan.
As a Met fan, I feel like we need some help. That's what I feel like. Like, we're doing all this winning. How long can we keep this? Like,
no, it's your fault. It's the Mets' fault, too.
You know where we needed help? In the bullpen at the trade deadline. That's where we needed help.
This is true, but you're also going to need a little bit of help from the other teams to make up these games.
Yes, but you can't worry about it. You got to worry about yourself. You got to worry about yourself.
And that's what the Mets are doing.
I'm not just talking about, and I'm not just talking about this wild card race. I'm talking about we're going to need help in the playoffs if we even win the wild card game and get into a playoff series because, in my opinion, defense wins championships, and you can only ride out the starters so long. And if we get into a playoff series, a best of 5 against whoever, this bullpen is not going to hold up against these top lineups in the NL.
No, but that's where.
And this bullpen,
that's
right
my
now,
big area of concern.
This bullpen has cost you. You could be in the wild card playoff spot right now. If it wasn't for the bullpen in April, May, June,
you want to go back. You want to go back to all those fans that went, if we didn't blow 19 out of the 20 games, we'd be in first place right now.
Yeah.
Like that does nothing, all right? That does nothing for
I don't want to hear that because it happened. And there's a reason why it happened.
Because they were bad at that time. The bullpen.
It didn't just happen because we flipped the coin and got the worst end of the deal.
We picked heads.
It happened because it happened because we deserved it.
Yeah, the Mets need help from other teams right now, but it's kind of their fault too why they need the help right now.
100%.
Obviously, they got themselves in this.
But in the playoffs,
half.
about the Mets in the playoffs, you really need to go with a 3-headed monster. You have Stroman, Syndergaard, and DeGrom.
Yeah.
You can use Matson as bullpen
that's
guys.
What I said. You throw them in there.
Them back-to-back nights at times.
There's pros and cons to that because if you go 3-man or 4-man, then obviously if you go 3-man, your starting pitchers are getting more work and you're trying them out longer. You can go 4-man, give them a little rest, give the stronger part of your team a lot more rest and give them a better chance to perform better. So that only leaves doing either Matz and Wheeler or Matz or Wheeler in the bullpen.
I say you go both.
That's a tricky.
You go 3 and you throw both in.
I don't know. I don't know what side I'm on
because
we're game and a half
there's
pros and cons to both. for both of you guys right now, if you had to make a decision, would you go 3 or 4 man?
You go
with
3 man
with the pros and cons.
Because it is the Mets and it is the bullpen that they have. You go 3 man and you throw in
You
Matz
can
and
go
Wheeler to the
3-man
bullpen.
and then one time throw in Wheeler as a starter, like once in a like.
Yeah, I
if
get
you're
that.
up like because 2 games didn't
going-
like,
Say DeGrom just pitched 110 pitches, and you might need him to have a little bit of a rest. You could throw in Matz for a start. But then,
what if they just had a bull? What if they would just came
no,
out of relief?
it's just
Okay,
all
so
about
then
the
you-
manager.
Yeah. What if they just came out of relief?
But then
That's
maybe
a
they
lot
need
to worry
10-15
about.
pitches in relief.
But that's a lot to worry about, but that's what a manager worries about.
And I don't
That's what
trust
they have
Mickey
to do.
Callaway to make any of these decisions.
That's how he has to manage
I
it
know.
the right way.
But
you
that's
really get
my
thrown
point.
out Gesellmans and
Yeah.
God only who is in that ball? You're gonna throw
I know.
Diaz out there in the 8th or 9th
I know.
inning, or
I know.
Familia in the playoff game.
We can't
you
even
throw Lugo
trust.
out there.
We can't even trust the best closer in baseball from last season.
Okay, thank you for saying last season.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think he's a closer this season. Really,
That's what I'm saying. We
Oh,
can't even
man.
trust him. It's unbelievable,
Yeah.
and that's my point with the 3-man, 4-man. It's
So-
a big decision that hopefully Mickey Callaway has to make this season.
It was like it's not close, but it was like the Islanders' decision. Do you go with
Oh, the goalies.
Robin? Yeah. Do you go with Grice? Do you do a little bit of back and forth?
I thought
Because
for a second I
do
thought
you-
you were comparing Matt to the Mets closer situation. I'm like,
That's-
there's no one on that ball that's a closer.
I was gonna say, yeah, no. I think Grice might be a better closer than Diaz. Just
Diaz,
bring him
yeah.
in.
I
Let
think
him
we
throw
throw
a
me out
couple.
there in the ninth. If I get a
Get on
couple
that
out.
bump, Jordan.
Yeah.
With
But-
Diaz, I said this before. You just gotta hope that maybe we see something this year. I doubt it, but you gotta hope next year he can get close to what he was doing.
I don't
last
care about
season.
next year right now. Right now, I want him to get
I'm
close
just right
this
now.
year.
No, you got to worry
I
about
know that, but I'm
no,
just
you got to
saying
worry
in
about right now
Get
getting
to the
into
wild
the
card
card.
spot.
Yeah, 'cause they
All right,
haven't
I'm not
been
worried
in it
about
all
next
year.
year.
No,
Haven't
And then-
been in it all
No,
I know
you're
some-
not wrong. I'm just talking about Diaz and himself.
Well, no, because
but
I know
obviously
some Mets fans
the
who were
Mets.
like, "Oh yeah, let's just not make it. Let's get the better pick." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? You're
Who
not."
says that?
That's what I'm saying.
That's not a thing in baseball. No one cares
Like,
about.
yeah, no one cares about
no one
picks.
cares about the
Picks-
first pick.
Yeah,
Let's
no.
tank. That's not a thing in baseball.
I know, but that's what I have to hear, and I'm just like, "Get out of
It's
here!
too
We're
late for
enjoying this
that.
run."
It's too late for that.
Like, and that's what I said.
It's not that valuable because one man really can't make your team from
Yes.
a bottom of the barrel to a
This
contender.
isn't basketball.
Yeah.
But now here's the thing, though. I told it to Ringo. I told it to you. I'm going to say it again to everyone. I said it once. I said it 1,000 times. The Mets, if they don't make the postseason, it was all for naught because we have to keep Mickey Callaway. That's
Yeah.
the simple bottom line.
No, they-
is that Will Ponds are going to look at it and be like, "Oh, you know what? They had a
But
good
if you
run.
make
They
the
played for
postseason
him."
and get bounced in
Either
the wild
way-
card
either
game,
way-
you
At
die
least,
anyway.
at least I had.
Either
at least I
way,
had
it's
some-
all for naught because I'm just being realistic. Obviously, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see them as realistic contenders.
No one thought
No one
that.
did in
So-
2015.
Yes, I understand that, but
That's like a once in a can lightning
Yeah.
possibly strike twice
Yes,
in the same spot?
yes.
That's what we're asking.
and I was realistic then too. Like they made a great run; it was crazy. I did not expect them to sweep. the
How
Cubs
are you
the way they
realistic then, too? If they made it to the World Series, you're just like,
I'm talking about as it was happening at the end of the season.
uh-huh.
Like they were going on this sick run. They won the division. It was insane. Yeah, that's another thing. They won the division that year. They're fighting for a wild card spot probably to the last day this season. So that's a different.
Yeah,
you can't-
that's the
it's
thing.
not
I don't
same
like.
right
I know.
off the
'Cause
bat.
wild card, you just go. Do you think wild card should be maybe best of 3? Or you think
I
it's-
would-
you
no.
think the one game
No,
is
one
fine?
game. Michael Kay
Well-
said it best: win the division. Just win the division.
No, I know. Well,
Yeah, but
here's the thing.
here's the thing: you have teams going 20, 30 games over 500, but they're a wild card team, and then you have people winning the
That's
division.
very rare.
But then you have teams winning the division, and they're a few games over 500. That's where it's a little.
That's
it all-
every sport.
I think
you
it-
see
I
that.
think it all
That's
comes-
every sport.
Well, but then-
football,
but-
you see that
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, but then you have things like basketball. It's just the conference. You go 1 to 8, things like that.
do you guys
I,
see?
I have no problem with the.
do you
baseball
guys see
format.
the wild card game as the playoffs, or do you consider it a play-in?
I
game?
consider. Well, it's play-in game, but it's also playoffs.
Yeah,
Pick
it's
one.
playoffs.
You got to pick one. Is it a playing game or is it playoffs?
I think it's.
Because a
I-
lot of people say it's a playing game, and I don't think I agree with them.
Well,
I
it's
can
literally
see
one
that.
game, and it's a.
Play-
to
I get that.
into the next round.
I get that, but,
I
you can
do
also
think
look at it as a one-game series.
I could consider it a playoff because your season's not. It's like when everyone else's season's over, yours isn't.
So then that's when the
right.
playoffs come in.
That's when the playoffs.
I agree with you.
But then there's time.
You're playing in the postseason.
Okay, but
yes.
what about when there's a tie and they play like they?
But that's a playing game.
That's a play.
That's different. That you're playing game 163.
Well, but according to Jordan, it's that no one else is playing. That's what. So I don't think
that's confusing. But
I get what you're saying.
I still
Tom,
consider it
yes.
a playoff game.
So now I'm going to go back to: do you think it should be a 2 or 3 game series?
Well,
I think
it can't be 2.
No, 1.
That's what I mean. I just said
All right,
two.
split them.
We both go.
We merge as a team. And
we both play the Yankees. The A's and the Rays both play the Yankees.
The Pittsburgh Steel Jets. Yeah, I don't know why I said 2. I meant to say 3. But
I don't
now
know.
I think, in my opinion, if you want to consider it a play-in game, then keep it out of 1 game. But if MLB's selling it as the postseason and it's the playoffs, I don't think it would be a bad idea to make it a 3-game series.
So why should that's gonna be annoying for the 1 game's fine, but you got to play possibly a best of 3. You're playing 3 extra games before the other team.
2 extra games. You're going to play that one.
In every other, I mean, not basketball because they
game
do
1 tie, game 1 lose, game 2
No, but you're only
win.
going to play 2 extra games because you have to play that one anyway.
Wait,
you said 3 extra games.
I know you
Yes.
mean. No,
Yeah.
There's 2 extra. I get what you're saying, but
Let's
why?
play 2 extra games.
Why does it not matter in every other sport? Basketball's different because they do the seeding, but hockey and football, there's wild card games. Football, it's always 1 game, so it's different.
There's not wild card. What do you mean by wild card games?
In NHL.
In
How do
NHL,
they
they
do
have
it?
a wild card round where they have a series, and it's a 7-game series because every game's a 7.
Yeah, because that's how they're formatted. Because there's 1 team out of the baseball division goes on. 3 teams in hockey's division go on. The top 3 in the Metro division go on.
Yes.
The top 1 in the AL East goes on. So there's more teams to compete. There's not as much teams in the playoffs in baseball than there
Okay,
is
so
in
Jordan,
hockey.
you're sticking with the 1 game.
Yeah. There's not enough teams to go around in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say the top team.
I don't see why that matters.
How's it?
It's more.
Right, 1, 2, 3, 5 teams play in the playoffs. 5 teams make the playoffs in each league, in the American League. We'll just take Yankees are the number 1 seed. Astros are the number 2 seed.
Are you
Number
saying because
3
it's an
seed.
even number? Is that what?
Yeah. There's not enough teams. So who's going to play that 5th team?
Okay. All right.
It's like the Yankees. Let's just say there's no wild card game. The Yankees would play the number 2 wild card, the Rays. Let's say.
Yeah.
The Astros would play the number 1 wild card, the Athletics. Who the
but
Twins
this
playing?
this has nothing to do with what Ringo's talking about.
No, I see what he's saying.
How?
Because now 1 team has to play an extra series, or 2 teams have to play an extra series.
Yeah, who's
So you
Cleveland
literally
order?
move
Minnesota.
you move the start of the series back 2 days, and you get the 2 games
Well,
in.
he's not talking about the days. He's just talking about just having to play 2
Hockey,
more
baseball, hockey, and football.
even number
Everyone
of
there's an
teams.
even number of
An
teams
even
to
number
play
of
each other.
teams play.
In baseball, an odd amount of teams make the playoffs. So if you were just to have no wild card game and match
but
everybody
that's
up,
not what we're talking about.
then what do you propose?
He's proposing you make the okay. You know how the Giants versus the Mets a couple of years back, and
Yeah.
the Giants beat them.
Yeah.
Mets lose. How about the Giants Mets play 3 games instead? That's
No,
it.
it's
That's
just-
all he's
it's
saying.
too
He's not
much for-
proposing no
it's too
wild
much for a
card.
wild card game. It's too many.
But it's
games
the
for
wild
a
card round.
game.
You can make that the wild.
Yeah, but
I
but
see
not
what
every
you're
other
saying.
team doesn't play the wild card round.
Not there's buys.
Hockey,
There's buys.
hockey teams play the wild card round pretty much.
But there's buys in football. Every team doesn't play the wild card round.
Yeah, but that's football. But hockey, they play the wild card round though.
So what? So you know.
And
what
hockey's a lot more enduring than any other sport. So, and they play a wild card round. So if you're talking as it's tough for other teams to play that extra round. Hockey, the toughest sport there is.
So what
He's
if
not talking
what
about
if-
it being tough.
This is
He's
getting
talking-
crazy now.
He's talking
What
about
if
it just
you
being
give
another
the top
couple
2
games.
teams in the NL and AL a bye, and then have well then you're adding a lot more. This I don't even know if I'm for it
Hey,
now.
okay, is
I don't
this
even know if
literally
I'm for
you
this,
guys?
but
Jordan's
now I'm
making this more
spitballing.
complicated than it is. You're
No,
making
it's
it more
just simple.
complicated.
just
You
play one
literally-
game and then you move on to play.
What you
What happened
do?
over there?
You got a blister?
I have a bad blister here from the gym. I just banged it on my leg.
All right, I get what you're saying, Jordan. But
I don't think
now
Jordan
I'm
gets
just-
what he said. He's not
now-
talking about
No,
the
I
same
get
stuff
what-
now
we're
I'm
talking
just,
about.
Now I'm just throwing out ideas. Now, let's say you restructure the whole thing in baseball. Let's say you give the top NL and top AL team a bye. So now you have an even number of teams, and you have 2 series in the wild card round and make that a best of 3. But now you have a lot more teams playing a lot more games. So I'm not saying I'm for this, but this is just
but the buy-in football is one game. It's not a whole series.
That's just because football is always one game. Every other sport is
so it's not that big of a layoff, and it's not that
hockey. You have that, and